everyone, aloha, welcome back. Today we're going to go over building a cabinet. This is going to be a small cabinet right here, kind of a control center for the electrical system in the bus. A really simple electrical system that I'll go over. But today we're going to go over building a cabinet out of 1/2 inch furniture grade plywood. If you find this video helpful, please click the like button down below or leave a comment, and I'll happily respond and get back to you. Feedback is always welcome. So let's get started. First thing that you might want to do is tape out the dimensions of your cabinet on the floor, and of course measure 3 times to decide what size cabinet you want to build. I want to leave lots of room here to get in and out, so this is going to be a pretty small cabinet, but it's going to house some important stuff. So I've taped that off on the floor just so I can get a feel for it. I'm going 20 inches wide, 16 deep by about 29 inches high. So before I started building my cabinet, I wanted to make sure that the goal 0, that's going to be my power source, fits easily in here within the taped off dimensions that I put on the floor, and I've got plenty of room on either side, front and back, so this is going to be the right size for me. So this is the plywood that I'm going to end up building a cabinet out of. This is 1/2 inch ACX plywood. It's got one side that's finished and looks nice, the other side's a little bit rougher. This was about $50. It's a little bit more expensive than standard plywood, but it's a nicer quality. Ideally, I'd be making this thing out of 5/8, but out of concern for weight, I'm going to try and get away with a 1/2 inch thickness on this. A couple other things that you'll want to get. I'm going to try and make most of my cuts on my skill saw, but I definitely want a plywood blade. It's a finish blade, so it has 40 teeth, a lot more than a standard framing blade. And then also this is really good glue that I recommend. It's a tight bond, it's ultimate wood glue, waterproof. This is the good stuff. So it's going to get nailed together, well, glued and then nailed together with little finish nails. So these are 1 inch. I'm probably going to be using 1.25 inch when I nail that 1/2 inch.
See where it goes.
So here's where we're at right now. We just got the outside of the box framed up. This is the side, the other side, and we'll put the back on, and then the front and shelves. The finished side is on the outside of the box, obviously. I have made some progress 3 hours later. I've got this, just the goal 0 setting in there just to make sure it fits okay. That's what's going on the bottom. I've got my shelf in, and I just use 1x2 furring strips all the way around to create my shelf. Second shelf, I'm going to have a little control panel right here with my plugins and stuff, and then a smaller cabinet door on this side, a larger cabinet door on this side. Haven't figured out the finish for the sides yet, but I have some cool wood that I'm going to use for the countertop. Here's what I found in my wood stash for the countertop. I think this is going to look really cool. Right now I'm just working on pulling all these little tiny nails out. I think they're from wallpaper or something. Anyways, this was pulled out of a early 1900s house. They used it for interior paneling and then put wallpaper on it. This is old school, old growth redwood. You can see the blade marks on this still, and I'm going to hit this with the belt sander and see what it looks like. All right, so making some progress on this piece of wood. That's what it looks like after I hit it with the belt sander. And then over here it's still rough cut, but I pulled all the nails off, and just going to do some light sanding with the belt sander. I'm really happy with this, the way it came out. I just gave it a really kind of light sand with the belt sander. So now I just have to decide. This side barely has any nail holes in it. The other side has quite a few nail holes in it, but also adds a lot of really nice character. where it kind of discolored the wood next to the nail holes. So I just have to decide which side I want up, but I'm definitely loving this piece of wood. Current progress on this cabinet. So I have I've cut an access hole in the back here. I've created a little small shelf here, which is going to have access in the top for some drink holders. Shore power is going to go here, and then the 12 volt power supply from the Goal Zero Yeti 1000 is going to go here. Yeti 1000 is going to go inside here, and I have my doors ready to go. Basically, these are going to mount here. With this is going to be my pole. No exposed knobs or anything like that to catch yourself on. The paint is going on. This is a whitewash look that I'm going for. What I've done is I've taken just some standard white house paint and I've diluted it. I wanted more white than clear, so what I did was I diluted it 2 parts paint to 1 part water. And basically what I'm doing is painting one side and then taking a dry, clean cloth and going over it, wiping it down, and you can see the grain underneath the white. So I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. So after painting this side, I just take my clean cloth and with the grain, kind of rubbing some of the excess paint off and then pushing the paint more deeply into the grain. Got a coat of whitewash, 1 coat on there. These are the doors, and I am going to leave it at 1 coat. I'm really happy with the grain showing through, what that looks like. So I've got these sitting out in the sun, and I'm going to hit them with a 220 grit. Everything is sanded down with 220 grit. I've got the top put on. I'm really happy with the way that looks with the saw blade marks and the old nail holes. That's going to be, I think, really beautiful once I get the finished coat on there. I've got this is going to be my side table that flips up like this. And that'll probably be one of the last things I put on. I'm gonna finish it, put the finish coat on everything before I put all the hardware on. So what I'm doing now is cutting the holes in for these are the drink holders, or the water bottle holders. This is a 3 1/4 inch hole saw bit, and I think it'll fit the drinks just perfectly. So let's see. So I'm also going to put a routered edge on these just to kind of smooth off this rough edge, or this sharp edge here. And final sand with the sanding block. Here is my progress, slowly but surely. Got this top finished up. I've got 4 coats of, I decided to go with a Helmsman Spar urethane. It is an oil base finish, but it is UV resistant, and I think it's a little heavier duty. Hopefully it'll stand up to the kind of heavy usage that I'm hoping to put it to use, you know, and lots of sunlight and stuff on it. So I do want it to be fully protected. 3 coats on the outside, and I think two or three coats on the inside, not as much because it won't get as much use. I've got the doors down there, they're ready to put on. This is a little control center that I'll have hooked up to the Goal Zero Yeti 1000. This will be my shore power for when I plug the bus in. So I just went with these light duty hinges. I think it's gonna work fine. I will, as you can see, it doesn't, you know, kind of stay all the way closed. Maybe it's some adjusting I have to do over here, but I'm gonna try and mount the magnet. I've got these little catches, magnet latches that I'm gonna put on and see if that'll do the trick, keeping it closed. After a lot of trial and error, I've decided on these hinges here. They work well, and as you can see, this is firmly secured by this cool little magnet, and that works really well. You can hear when it closes, it's like it's not coming loose. Before I affix this to the floor and this back panel, I'm having to do some upgrading to the original shore power, and there was kind of some nicks in the wiring that I could see in here, so I'm running new wire and then a new sheath that goes over it. This is the old one, and I'm upgrading this guy, which is the original Adventure Wagon shore power, with a GFCI ground fault interrupter, which will go in there. But originally the shore power came in behind this seat right here, but I had to patch that because it just didn't make sense for the wire to have to go from there to here. This breaker panel was mounted down here, so I'm kind of repositioning this, and I'm getting this a little bit more, so it makes a little bit more sense with the layout. Here it is, the finished product, mounted, and everything fits. Got my little fold out shelf here for festivities, and inside I've got my custom cup holders. Also, I got a cordless speaker that fits in there just right. In here is where I have access to the shore power. Kind of comes in back there. I've got the breaker mounted to the back, and that comes in from shore. This unit down here is the Goal Zero, so that is down here. And let's see, for power, I can just hit that, and now I have my Goal Zero, my 12-volt power. So this is where I will have all the auxiliary hooked up, fans, outdoor lights, inside lights, and probably run the 12-volt refrigerator off that. So everything is done, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. The overall weight is 38 pounds. And then I will link, or I will also put in finished exterior dimensions, height, width, and length. All right, aloha everyone. I hope that video is helpful for you. Click the like button or leave a comment. I'll make sure to get back to you. Maybe that was inspiring. Maybe you got some good ideas. Anyways, happy VWing. Aloha. Mahalo for watching. See you next time.